Yes, people, good morning to Albert JTV. First match review of the season. A lot to talk about. But, people, before we get into it, let's hit the intro with a hashtag start. Hashtag like, share, and subscribe. People criticize other people for talking about things not football related on their YouTube channels. I don't sign up. To work out not the top six, but arguably probably the big six clubs in English football. Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV. As I said before the intro, first match review of the season. Brentford 2, Arsenal 0. People, welcome back. I sort of did my first Arsenal content during the week in the live Q&A. Massive thank you again to my subscribers and anyone new that recently joined, because, I made the conscious decision to take a break from Arsenal. Maybe I should have kept it at that, to be honest with you, after what I saw last night. People, as I say, smash that like button if you haven't already, and share my content and subscribe to the channel on the road to 800. Then after that, 901K and so on and so on. Let's continue to grow the channel. As I said, people, big up to the people in the chat if you're there already. Send your virtual waves and hellos, even after a very poor night last night. Let me go to the chat quickly before I carry on. Morning, Russ. Russ, I will touch on that very, very shortly. Big up to you, Goonie King, in the chat, man. Keep doing your thing on TikTok, man. I do try and watch everybody's content, but it's difficult, man. But big up to seeing you on Jesse channel the other day, man. So respect to you, man. We'll catch up at some point, I'm sure, at this mad point of the season, the entire season, shall I say. Jack, cheers, bro. Instagram family's in the house, man. Man, times are, I don't blame you for taking a break from Arsenal. Exactly, mate. Could someone bring back the Euros, please? Souls, if you're watching the chat, let's get on to the sponsors. Let's get ourselves to Qatar for next year for the World Cup. Scrap the Premier League season, man. Yes, RJ, my bro. The Prince of YouTube is in the chat. My guy. Goonie King, of course, man. Absolutely. Anthony, Instagram family in the chat already. Hi, Albert. I got to say the problem is the squad, the manager, and the owner. I didn't watch the game. I'm glad I didn't. Anthony, I'll tell you what. If you really want to put yourself through the pain, bro, probably watch it or watch highlights. You got like the 3-minute highlights on the Sky Sports whatever YouTube channel, wherever it is, or watch some extended highlights. But you know what it is? Sometimes you have to go through the pain of having to watch them, man, because these guys know in the chat, particularly RJ, I made sort of a conscious decision to not watch a lot of the preseason games. The only one I actually did watch was the last one, was against Tottenham. I thought, you know what? I need to see this with my own two eyes. And if I shut my eyes and quickly opening them again, it was almost like watching last season, a lot of our games, if I'm being honest with you. Big up Shane in the chat as well, man. Big up Shane. Get a time machine back to 2006 and protest. We need Martin McFly. We need a lot of things, man. A lot of things at Arsenal. What do you think about that Uber rumor? Personally, I think that play Uber down the middle, went back with Balogun and Saka and Pepe out wide. Possibly, Jack. I actually didn't hear about the Aubameyang rumor until my bro RJ told me. So, you know what? Call me the cynical person, but obviously when we learned yesterday, sort of afternoon, that Aubameyang and Lacazette won't be playing, I was like, that's not good. Listen, if they're ill or it's COVID or whatever the reasons why they're missing, then they're missing. But it's not a coincidence that rumor about Aubameyang, for example, came out today, the day after he's missing from the game the day before. So everything's happening at Arsenal, man. Everything's happening. So yeah, guys, I'm not going to do a long match review live stream. We've got 15 people watching. Thank you, man. Early morning as well. I'm sure you guys are making your cornflakes or your big breakfast, but I'm appreciative of you tuning in. Trust me. Before I start, big up to my boy, my bro, JG Fight Talk, Laguna Boxing Channel. His birthday today, so many blessings to you, bro. Guys, let me know if you can hear me all right, because I can see my connection buffering, but I think I'm okay. But yeah, game yesterday. So the starting lineup. I'll be honest with you, I wasn't too disappointed really, because a lot of Arsenal fans have been calling out to play some of the youngsters. Some of them were enforced, obviously, with Aubameyang and Lacazette missing. Balogun got his opportunity. And I kind of said it. I'm in a couple of Arsenal group chats, and I said sort of before the game that all we ask as Arsenal fans, in terms of some of the youngsters, and I would say more so aiming that at Balogun, is that he just gets given an opportunity. If he plays and he absolutely bombs through the entire season, you sink or swim, but at least he's been given the opportunity to play minutes. And it's going to be even more difficult because obviously the supply line at Arsenal in terms of creativity or creating chances is not at its best currently with the personnel we have. Hence the reason why this transfer window was supposed to be the one where a lot of work was done in terms of incomings and outgoings. Yes, we brought 3 people in, but we'll touch on that a little bit more. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for letting me know, my bro. Melvs is in the chat. Where is it? I just see Melvin come up. Where's he gone? Yeah, mixture of both, mate. Melvin, good to see you in the chat, bro. Thank you, man. Long time supporter of the channel. They do need help, man. And if you look at some of our experienced boys that are supposed to be the ones that are leading by example, it's very questionable. And I'm being polite by using the word questionable. But yeah, the first half, sorry, people. So yeah, the team I wasn't too disappointed with, because you know what? I want to see some of the youngsters in there. I actually had Saka down to start in my predicted lineup. I know people say he's not had minutes and maybe he's not had much training sessions, but he's that good, you play him, in my opinion. We know, listen, I was lucky enough to obviously to present the Same Old Arsenal preview show for the Arsenal Brentford game. Big up my bro RJ Arsenal blog. And from what Brentford have been a good side for a number of years, even in the Championship, when, like I said, when Dean Smith was there. There was always hovering around the playoffs. They should have came up the season before last. They had about 3 or 4 good chances and they didn't. But, you know, from the bits we were seeing before the start of the game and how they press high, man. And it doesn't even have to be a misplaced pass. The pass could be a yard off the intended target to go to another player. They will press you hard. And Arsenal knew that was going to happen. Mikel Arteta knew that was going to happen. So when you saw the first half, and I thought the first 10 minutes, especially with Brentford, I thought they really, really, really put a marker down. Fans back in the stadium, Brentford back in the big time for the first time in 74 years. We knew about the danger men in terms of Ivan Toney, Brian Mbeumo, and Sergio Canos. We knew they were there. We knew they were the dangers. This wasn't a surprise. And you know what? Big up to Ivan Toney, because you can see why he gets a lot. You can see why he had double figures in assists last season in terms of just his goals. Absolute Trojan-like performance from him and Mbeumo, who caused Arsenal's defense a hell of a lot of problems from a physicality point of view, from a movement point of view. And, you know, as I mentioned before about Bern Leno, he's had his detractors for quite a long time now. When I said this last season, particularly when he was in the Europa League. If I was a midfield player or a defender, but more so a midfield player, I will be having fights with Bern Leno every week in training. Because I remember that particular game when he gave Danny Ceballos that hospital pass where you basically, he was the bait and you had the piranhas around him and we lost the ball and we conceded the goal. Leno's distribution and speed of distribution is nothing short of shocking. I saw when Pablo Mario looked like he wanted to kill him yesterday in that first 10 minutes when he gave him that pass. It's just he invites even more pressure than there should be. Yes, Brentford play a high press, but if you're going to play it from the back, one thing for me, I don't know what you guys think in the chat and people watching this live, you have to play the ball a bit sharper, whether that's Leno, Mari, Ben White, Chambers, more incisive, which was missing from, to be honest, the performance in the first half. I thought for a 5-minute period after the 10-minute mark, we had a bit more ascendancy. ESR was very influential. No surprises again. The point of our attack came down from the left-hand side, which seems to be always the case. But Brentford looked more dangerous. Even for the little purple patch we had in the first half, Brentford looked more dangerous to score. Much more dangerous. And it culminated in the first goal. I don't know what you guys think. I look at it and I say to myself, if I can find the image, where's it gone? So, yeah, like we said, we mentioned it. The danger man, Sergio Canos. Good goals and assist record last season from Brentford in the Championship. People will argue the ball went out of play, but it was still a good clearance from Callum Chambers. Again, as you're taught as a kid, growing up through the ranks when you play football, if you do not win the first ball, win the second balls. If you don't win the first ball, you don't win the second balls, trouble is going to be around the corner. And unfortunately, it was. With the goal, it was a good strike by Sergio Canos. I think because of the speed of the shot and the fact that he took it early, by the time Leno even had time to set himself, it was 1-0. So, yeah, not a great start. 21 minutes in, Sergio Canos gets the first goal. And from then on, really, Brentford had their tails up. Absolutely. And then the Burmu was just giving us problems. And he had a chance to actually make it 2-0 in about the 30-minute mark when he sort of pirouetted out of a tight corner with, I think it was with Mari, and he sort of got the better of Ben White, but he screwed the shot wide. So I thought at that point, for me personally, we had a half chance with Balogun when he cut inside, he hit a shot trying to go for the far corner, but that was kind of it, really. We needed to be more decisive. I see the same patterns of behavior in terms of last season and in the preseason game against Spurs. A lot of possession, no cutting edge, no killer instinct. Let me take some comments in the chat because it's getting quite lively. I see you guys. What are you guys saying? Let me see if I can catch up what you guys are saying. Yeah, Russ, I hear you, man. Russ, I hear you. I hear you actually as well. Gonna keep burning. You know, I'm glad you touched upon that, Ryan, actually, because oh my god, when we had that passage of play, you guys remember it when Xhaka was just not aware one iota of the pack of wolves in terms of the Brentford players surrounding him. And I'll tell you something now. If he made a mistake there and they'd have scored from that, I would have DM'd Granit Xhaka that night and I said to him, you know what? Try and find the quickest hotel in Brentford in the area at that time. Just don't come back to North London, because it would have been guts for garters. Trust me. But yeah, the first half, man, I don't know if you guys remember seeing that stat where apparently we've lost 10 out of 14 games after conceding the first goal, I think, or is it being behind in the first half? That is a horrendous stat, which just goes to tell you quite a few number of things. When we go 1-0 down, we don't look like getting back in the games. And I think that's a combination of maybe some of the players having a lack of confidence in what Arteta's trying to do, or the fact that Arteta's looking at the players and thinking, I can't implement my system because they're not good enough. But then the same token, you're picking the same players. And when I say picking the same players, you're picking the same experienced players at Arsenal who are supposed to be leading the line in terms of what Gunnar King was saying, with it not being so reliant on the youngsters. So, second half, I think, yeah, for me, the only two players I would pinpoint that could come out of any credit in terms of Arsenal players yesterday was probably Kieran Tierney, more so in the second half, who was giving us brilliant attacking outlet down the left-hand side, good cutbacks. But then when you look at it, and people say it, I always say the acid test. Look at it with your own two eyes. We get balls into the box, but look at the numbers in the box. Look at the number of personnel in the box. RJ Arsenal made a good point with Lacazette in terms of he has good hold up all around ability play, but if you look at his actual movement in terms of getting in the box, he's hardly ever there. So Kieran Tierney, predominantly when he gets into the wide areas and gets into the final third, you'll notice a lot of the time he probably won't put in a lot of aerial crosses or put in cutbacks or people running onto things because he's looking, where's your main striker in the box or strikers in the box? Where's your advanced midfield player getting into the box? They're not there. That's the problem. So guys, like I say, smash the like button if you haven't already. And if you don't know what to do by now, this is what you should do. And there you have it once again, people. Also, of course, not forgetting to my audio listeners, I'll put this out on my Spotify and Anchor, and I'll clip a little bit and put it on my IGTV on Instagram as well. Second half. So again, I'll put in bold capital letters on my notes. Arsenal, a lot of possession. But again, what did we do with it? Feel for the Arsenal fans who went yesterday. The season ticket holders who have been chomping at the bit to go and watch their beloved team. You go to an away ground, new away ground for the first time, London Derby, and you see that performance. Wow. And then unfortunately, like I said, we had to come out in the second half in the ascendancy. It was non-negotiable, as Mikel Arteta likes to say, because in that first half, there was no incision. It wasn't decisive. Our only bright spark in the first half was ESR, but even after his sort of purple patch in the first half, he kind of got snuffed out a little bit. And I must mention one thing that drives me absolutely mad. People can say what they want about Nicolas Pepe, but let me tell you something. When we saw his better performances last season, most of his better performances, where were those coming from? On the left of a free. Why is it he's on the right? I'm not saying he's not got the capability of playing on the right of a free, but for me, I'm not a football coach. I keep on saying that, but I'm sorry. He's a left-footed player who doesn't like to use his right foot, is not particularly very strong on that side. Play him on the left. Move Martinelli to the other side of the pitch. I hear it all the time. Play to your strengths. My bro Gunnar Solskjaer mentioned plenty of times. Arteta, seems to go away from what he wants to do. We're playing, no disrespect, and I have a lot of respect for Brentford for a number of years. We're playing counter-attacking football against a newly promoted team who haven't played top-flight football for 74 years. And we're playing counter-attacking football. Let that sink in. It's incredible. It's incredible. And then, people talk about Arsenal's defense being the third best defensive record in the league last season. But let's be honest, there's still major teething problems in defense, whether it be combinations of the centre halves, fitness of our fullbacks. We've got a lot of right backs at the club. So it's madness, man. It's madness. Before I come on to talk about more about the game, let me get in the chat lively, man. Whoa. Let me go. Let me pick out some stuff. Let me see. Let's see. Let me see. Let's see what you guys are saying. Brentford's organised structure having a game plan. Exactly. Arteta got out coached by Thomas Frank. 100%. And you know what? Brentford did what you don't see a lot of coaches do today. They play a front two. It's almost a dying breed in football to play a strike. But if you're going to play with two up front, you've got to absolutely work your tail off. And it wasn't no surprise Ivan Toney got man of the match. like I said, I can see why he's got a lot of assists as well as goals. Brian Mbeumo was class as well. You guys are live in the chat, man. Guys, chuck a couple of questions at me because, like I said, I don't want to do a long stream. I would enjoy my weekend, but yeah. So, guys, the second goal. Oh my god. I don't even know what to say anymore. Really, really don't. As I say, I said it before earlier in the stream. Set pieces. Even Thomas Frank even said it before the start of the game when interviewed by Carragher and Neville, talking about set pieces. We get done by a throw-on. Like I said, you don't get the first ball. You got to get the second ball. Now, I could pick out Bern Leno, I could pick out Ben White, Mari, Xhaka, Tierney, whoever was in that 18-yard area. Take responsibility. Why are you allowing a long throw-on to bounce once in your 6-yard area? It's unforgivable. But then I look at it and I say to myself, because at the time I wasn't angry. I was disappointed we conceded to go 2-0 down because, you know, even my bro RJ messaged me during the game. He said, even when it was at 1-0, he said, this game's done. I don't see Arsenal getting back in this game. Even though, again, we had a lot of possession. To let a ball bounce in your penalty area like that, the goalkeeper's got to either take responsibility, or Ben White or Xhaka or Mari or Tierney. Somebody take ownership. 2-0, and to be honest, from that, the game was over. And to make it, and to be even more harsh, to be honest with you, they had another opportunity to go 3-0 up from a set piece. I think it was Norgard again, or you got the header. It could have been, or was it Canos? Sorry, it could have been 3-0. They could have scored more. They just look more. Up for it's too simple a word to use, but they just like RJ mentioned in the chat, and the guys in the chat, they look more structured. They look like they knew what they was doing. They looked like they believed in what the manager had asked them to do. You know, look at the preparation, man. We don't look ready. I can only go by one preseason game that I've seen. People kept saying it's only preseason. It's going to be a big summer transfer window. We're going to move some of these players on. The excuses, the crime sheet is too long. How long does the crime sheet have to get before we realize, one, the manager isn't good enough, or the job's too big for him, and we already know the players are not good enough, but he keeps picking them. And I saw a tweet yesterday, I can't remember the gentleman's name, you guys might have seen it, where he was saying basically Granit Xhaka was on the verge of leaving the door. The guy had a plane ticket to go to Rome. And then weeks later, he walks out as captain as our first game of the season. It speaks volumes about this football club. It absolutely speaks volumes. We just look so underprepared. We don't look cohesive. It's not just a hard watch, it's poor to watch. I said to people at the start of the season, I'm not looking forward to the season. Why would I be? You know, Arsenal fans, you know, are tweeting and talking about positivity and negativity and get behind the team, get behind the players. Do you know how difficult that is when you're seeing the type of football that we're seeing? And don't even mention the COVID thing, because even, let's be honest, for the guys that were going to the games before the pandemic, right? Even then, the football wasn't great to watch. We was drawing a lot of games. We didn't look like winning games. We weren't scoring more than one goal in many of the games. Poor. Even the last game before the COVID, West Ham at home, we should have lost. We won, but it's mad, man. It is mad. What do we do, Gunner King? You know what, to be honest, mate? People who have seen my content, people that have watched it, people will know my views about certain players at this football club. You know, when you have sections of the fan base that care more about the interest of certain players than the progression of the football club, it's a recipe for disaster. So yeah, I mean, the only two notable chances I remember Arsenal sort of having creating was when Emil Smith Rowe had a very good chance, beautiful turn in the second half where he ran through. The shot was a bit too easy for David Raya to save, and obviously a good move down the left-hand side a bit later during the match, with Kieran Tierney involved as usual. Great strike by Pepe, fantastic save by David Raya. Guys, you know what? I don't know what happens from here. I see people talking about Arteta has 9 games. I see people talking about he's got to the end of the month. This is amongst the fan base, by the way. This is not like journalist talk or rumors. Obviously, we heard today about the rumors about Aubameyang. And I said about Aubameyang, to me, if you cut through all the red tape and you cut through all the BS and you cut through, inverted commas, the possible excuses, he just looks like he doesn't want to be here. So who knows what was in that contract? But people, we made 3 subs. Obviously, we saw the return of Saka. Tavares came on for Chambers. And obviously, we had Reece Nelson come on for Martinelli. And I've got to be honest. Can someone remember Reece Nelson touching the ball? Someone has to remind me that he was actually playing when he came on. There's a lot of players at the club we're looking at. We're thinking to ourselves, what is going on? Arsenal are the complete opposite of preparation. I said it the other night on the same old Arsenal, and I said it last season when we was in the Europa League. When you have 3 key senior figureheads at the football club with Arteta, Edu, and Vinay, why do you think we was going to have a good summer transfer window? And I mean good as in terms of money coming in, players going out, profile of player. I've heard that a lot. I've heard profile of player a lot in the last few weeks. Let me go to the chat, man, before I start gassing on and on. Dave, my guy, man, how's it going, mate? Long time no see, man. Do you think if I has to leave, if he doesn't get results from City and Chelsea? I know it's only first game, but surely he has to. If he does, who can we attract? Dave, cracking question, mate. Hope you keep him well. With the Arteta thing, and I've said this before, Arsenal fans are seduced by the fact that he worked with Pep. That's where, for me, the sort of blind loyalty comes from in terms of why people keep backing this guy, because I don't get it. I said it before. If he was a club legend in terms of Vieira or Bergkamp or Henry and they was a manager and they were severely struggling, you could understand Arsenal fans showing blind loyalty and faith. If Mikel Arteta had been linked with the Arsenal job and he worked under, for example, a Roy Hodgson, I think 30-40% of his fan base would want him out of the door now already. But because they're seduced by the fact that he worked under Pep and the Amazon documentary City and the players he worked with, that's what they're holding on to. That's my honest opinion. I think that's what it is. Because I don't think the clamour would be there if he worked under, for example, a Roy Hodgson. My opinion. I don't know. Russ, my guy, should we sell Uber? There's many people that think we should. I'll come back to that, Russ. What I'll do, Russ, I'll do it in a different way. I'll speak for myself and I won't speak for other Arsenal fans. But I know there was a small section of Arsenal fans, big up Kesh and a few others, if you're watching, who said at the time, with the whole contract negotiation, we should sell him. There were people that said that. I was pleased that he signed. I wouldn't say I was breaking out cartwheels and having tea parties and, jumping for joy, because we didn't sign a new player. He wasn't going to elevate us to the promised land. He wasn't. And we found ourselves in another situation where we've handsomely paid another player in his 30s a very handsome contract. Previously, Ozil, Willian, and Aubameyang. There's so much wrong with this football club. I can't sit here for another 20, 30 minutes talking about it because you guys already know what the problems are. But what can you do as an Arsenal fan? Our next two games, man. Chelsea and Man City. I said the other day when I looked at our first 6 games of the season, I thought minimum will get 10 out of 18 points. 10 out of 18. Because I don't see us beating Man City. I don't see us beating Chelsea. And although we have a fantastic home record against Tottenham, with the way we're playing, probably might lose that as well. And Tottenham have got an horrendous record at the Emirates. The thing with Arteta is, listen, it's a results business first and foremost. But Arsenal seem to deviate away from that narrative and say, let's just give Arteta more time. But then you have sections of the fan base that go, oh, you know what, he needs time, and give him more time, and he needs to be backed. But I said it the other night on the Same Old Arsenal podcast that you can take the inexperience factor in isolation, which is an issue with Mikel Arteta. But for me, a lot of it, stubbornness. Absolute stubbornness. And it will be his downfall. And what will also be his downfall is his insistence and trust in putting it into a group of players that have let down 2 previous managers. So, guys, I will log off in a minute because you know what? I've got a busy Saturday. But, guys, I always appreciate your interaction with me, man. Your support for my channel has been amazing. I just seen Tottenham Holly's in the show. You know what? Holly, listen, the link up's going to happen in terms of where we play you. So we've spoken sort of off camera about getting a preview done, which we will do. But Holly, as much as I want to wring your neck, I still think you're amazing anyway. But people, perfect game. Oh, Russ, bloody hell, don't get me started. You're good a king, yeah. Got to get out of here. Guys, big up to you, man. Holly, listen, you've got an appointment with Mr. Little Shimpad Man, as you call him, tomorrow, and Jack Grealish. So just relax yourself, because it could be a cricket score, and I'm not talking about just at Lords with England versus India. But guys, big up to you in the chat. Get your virtual waves and hugs goodbye. Maybe put in a couple of questions before I go, but yeah, one thing I must say before I go. Get your virtual hugs and waves goodbye. But I don't know if you guys heard it yesterday. I heard it when the game was live. Brentford fans, let that sink in. And no disrespect to them. We're singing, "We're just too good for you." Brentford Football Club, who have not played top flight football for 74 years, are singing, "We're just too good for you." Let that sink in. Let that sink in. So for the Arsenal fans that want to say it's the first game of the season, it's only pre-season, the Premier League season has started. Let's wake up. It started. Chelsea next. Man City next. We could conceivably, after the first 6 games, if the form and what we see continues, we'll be in the bottom 3. Let's get realistic. So for the people, listen, if you want to go down the route of talking about positivity and stop being negative, watch what you're seeing with your own 2 eyes. What are you putting a positive on? If you sit here and tweet me and you Instagram me and tell me Ben White, I'll be like, yes. Saka, yes. Lokonga, yes. But they're the individuals that decide. I'm talking about the components of a team and being successful and challenging. We are light years off of that. And we haven't even got European football. So we can't even use that as an excuse. Guys, wake up. You know what? To the younger generation of Arsenal fans, I don't know how old some of you guys are in the chat. I'm happy to admit I'm 40 years old, right? This is the worst Arsenal period I've seen in my lifetime. Worst. We finished 12th in 94-95. And that was an awful season. But the last 2 years and this season up and coming, and what I saw yesterday, we're going to have to take some serious surgical pain, because it's not going to get any better. Yes, Aubameyang and Lacazette were missing. They would not have made a blind bit of difference yesterday. And if you think they would have done, you're kidding yourselves. We are a poor side. We're a poor side organizationally, top to bottom, on and off the field. We are a shambles. And I'm being polite by using the word shambles. So, guys, you know what, Rajay? I recorded it actually, so I'm going to listen to the last sort of 40 minutes of the coverage that was on Sky Sports yesterday. That's Holly. You know, Holly, I will kill you. No, I won't do that really. Yeah, Russ, it's Russ, we're sort of similar age, man. And I said to I know you tuned in for a little bit for the same old Arsenal when I did my first show, and I said to the younger generation of fans, you're gonna just have to sit tight. I don't want to say that to you, but I cannot sit here and do my channel and do live streams and do reviews and previews and sit here and lie to you. This is going to be painful. Not just this season, years to come. I said it last season. Arsenal are not going to win the Premier League in the next 15 years. Let that sink in. Liverpool, with the prestige and the history that they've got, only just got over the line with their first Premier League title. Liverpool had before that hadn't won a league title since the old First Division. That's why we have to talk about the Invincibles, because what have the younger generation got to talk about with this football club? 4 FA Cups in 17 years since we moved to the Emirates. Unacceptable. Facts. So, guys, that's me over and out, man. I'm not going to keep talking because I'm gonna sort of get too overly passionate, and it's difficult supporting this football club. It's difficult supporting any football club, but it's yeah, younger generation of fans, Guna King, similar age. We're gonna have to ride through it. You're gonna have to ride through it. We have an inexperienced manager that keeps on making mistakes and is stubborn. And I said it before, where Arteta lost me, he's lost a lot of people, Arsenal fans, at different points of last season. But for where he lost me is when he said about the Cronkies, talking about, you know, if you got to know them, you'd be surprised. From he said that, I was done with him as an Arsenal fan personally. So, guys, I don't know who we're going to get as a potential manager if and when that conversation does happen. But Arsenal are still an attractive club. We're a big club, but we're only a big club by name. And that is the key difference. So, people, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. My Twitter and Instagram is going along the bottom of the screen, and it's also above in the overlay. Yeah, welcome back to Albert J TV. It's not been a good start, obviously. I think deep down, a lot of people weren't surprised by the performance yesterday, if they're being brutally honest, when you failed to prepare. So, guys, that is me, Albert J TV, over and out. Like I said, I'm on the road to 800 sub. Guys, please, people, get me there before the end of the season. Hopefully, who knows? We may hit the 1K. I should be back, hopefully. I need to talk to my amazing guest panel in terms of when I will be doing the weekly surgery with Kesh, RJ, and Guna Souls. Sort of need to do is iron out a few things in terms of structure, but we'll get there. But people, love to you all in the chat. Have a fantastic weekend. Match review is done. Brentford 2, Arsenal 0. We move on to our next Premier League game, Chelsea. Hashtag like, share, and subscribe. People criticize other people for talking about things not football related on their YouTube channels. I don't sign up. To work out the not the top 6, but the arguably probably the big 6 clubs in English football.